Adverse possession doesn't have to take on a particular form, right? So some people might be thinking, well, okay, so what does this mean? I move into somebody's house, I take it over, I build a wall, and the property's mine. I mean, it certainly could mean that, but it doesn't necessarily have to mean you're taking over a property in its entirety.
No, in fact, usually that's not the case, right? Usually it is the case that it is a portion of land. And we see that most often in like boundary disputes. Builders are human. And so when properties get developed, there's whoever the fence company was that put up the fence or whatever just didn't measure correctly or whatever. And then you've got your fence on someone else's land, and it's inadvertent. But that's often how we see that manifest is some sort of inadvertent act that just kind of stayed that way for a very long time.
Talk to us a little bit about, I mean, we're talking about residential properties or maybe commercial and, boundary disputes and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about too, like adverse possession can be used for, say, easements or access to property and roads and things like that, that maybe never really exist, but people just, like decided, well, I'm going to drive across this strip of my neighbor's property to access mine. So they're not possessing it, except to the extent they use it, a couple of times a day to drive to or from their house. Talk to us about what that looks like as far as roads and access and easements.
Yeah, we see that on a fairly regular basis too. And that takes usually two forms are the most common, right? One is access by way of necessity, right? So there may not be a road there to access a particular parcel of land. That can happen when you have a larger tract of land that is subdivided. And for whatever reason, the county or the owner didn't catch the fact that one of those subdivided parcels is going to be orphaned and not have actual access. And so you can have an easement created just by the use of, land that may not have any particular road, and it's just used over time. And so that's one way. And then the other way is where you actually have like a hostile use, right? Okay, my property has access over, on the west side of the parcel, but there's this really convenient road over here, and and a driveway or something, and I'm just going to kind of skate over on the eastern side and get to my property that way, and nobody said anything, and so you get it not because you need it, but because it's convenient and you do it for long enough.